Imagine a Colosseum of ages, a grand arena where the echoes of history reverberate through time. The ancient stones whisper tales of glory and defeat, of heroes and villains, of battles fought and won. In this timeless arena, two figures stand poised for battle, their shadows stretching long and ominous. They are not just men, but legends, their names etched in the annals of history. On one side stands Alexander the Great, a figure of immense power and ambition. His gaze is steely, his posture commanding. He is more than a warrior. He is a symbol of conquest and ambition. He is a Macedonian king, a ruler whose name has become synonymous with greatness. His crown is a testament to his royal lineage, his authority unquestioned. He is a conqueror of nations, his military campaigns legendary. From the sands of Egypt to the mountains of the Persia, his armies marched, leaving a trail of victories in their wake. He is a builder of empires, his vision extending beyond the battlefield. Cities rose under his command, cultures intertwined, and a new world order was forged. On the other side, we have Al Capone, a figure shrouded in infamy. His eyes gleam with a ruthless cunning, his smile a mask for his deadly intentions. He is a ruthless gangster, his name feared and respected in equal measure. His hands are stained with the blood of his enemies, his rise to power marked by violence and treachery. He is a cunning businessman, his mind as sharp as any blade. He navigates the underworld with the skill of a seasoned strategist, turning crime into an empire. He is the self-proclaimed emperor of Chicago's underworld, his influence stretching across the city from the speakeasies to the streets. His presence is felt, his power undeniable. These two men, separated by centuries and circumstance, represent two sides of the same coin, the pursuit of justice. Yet their paths to power, their methods and their legacies are starkly different, but their definitions of justice, their methods and their legacies could not be more different. Alexander sought to unite the world under his rule, believing in the strength of a unified empire. Capone, on the other hand, thrived in chaos, his empire built on fear and corruption. Their stories, though separated by time, offer a glimpse into the complexities of power and the human condition. Alexander's vision of justice was ambitious and far-reaching. He sought to create a world united under Hellenic rule. He saw himself as a unifier, a bringer of civilization. He integrated conquered peoples into his empire. He offered them rights and responsibilities. He promoted cultural exchange and intermarriage. His rule of law, though often harsh by modern standards, aimed to be consistent and impartial. He believed in upholding the law, even when it applied to himself. Al Capone, in stark contrast, operated in the shadows. His Chicago outfit was a sprawling criminal enterprise. It thrived on violence, intimidation, and corruption. Capone's justice was swift and brutal. It was meted out by his enforcers. He manipulated the legal system. He bribed officials. He eliminated rivals. He believed that power was the ultimate arbiter of justice. He enforced his will with ruthless efficiency. The moral and ethical codes of Alexander and Capone were worlds apart. Alexander, steeped in Greek philosophy and ethics, believed in a higher order. He saw himself as an instrument of destiny. He aimed to create a just and equitable world, albeit on his own terms. Capone, on the other hand, was a product of the brutal realities of the Chicago underworld. He operated in a moral grey area where survival depended on cunning and ruthlessness. The gavel and the Tommy gun. Their approaches to justice were reflected in their legal systems. Alexander's empire had a hierarchical legal system. It drew upon both Greek and Persian traditions. It had courts, judges, and a codified set of laws. Capone's Chicago, while ostensibly operating under the rule of law, was a different beast entirely. Capone's justice was the law of the streets. It was enforced with bullets and brute force. Who would prevail? This hypothetical clash of titans begs the question, who would prevail in a battle of justice? Would Alexander's grand vision of a unified and just world triumph over Capone's ruthless pragmatism, or would Capone's street smarts and willingness to break the rules give him the edge? The answer, of course, is far from simple. It forces us to confront the complexities of justice itself. Echoes in the halls of justice. The legacies of Alexander and Capone, though vastly different, continue to resonate today. Alexander's empire crumbled long ago, but his dream of a unified world governed by a common set of laws continues to inspire. Capone's criminal empire met its end in a hail of bullets and indictments, but his story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the corrosive effects of corruption. The unending quest for justice. The juxtaposition of Alexander and Capone highlights the enduring human quest for justice. It reminds us that justice is not a monolithic concept. It is shaped by time, place, and circumstance. It is a concept that has been debated by philosophers, revolutionaries, and common people for centuries. Both Alexander and Capone held immense power. Alexander commanded armies and conquered vast territories. He spread Greek culture and influenced the course of history. His power was visible, celebrated, and largely accepted by the societies he ruled. Capone, in contrast, held sway over the shadowy world of organized crime. His power stemmed from fear, intimidation, and the flow of illegal money. He operated outside the established system, bending it to his will through corruption and violence. The legacy of justice. It is a concept that has evolved over centuries, shaped by the actions and philosophies of countless individuals. From the ancient courts to modern legal systems, justice has always been a cornerstone of civilization. The impact of both figures on the understanding of justice is undeniable. Alexander's legacy is complex. He was not just a conqueror, but also a visionary who sought to unify diverse cultures under a single rule. His approach to justice was multifaceted, blending the harshness of military rule with the sophistication of Greek philosophy. He was a conqueror who brought both destruction and cultural exchange. His campaigns led to the spread of Greek culture and ideas, influencing legal systems far beyond his empire. Yet his methods were often brutal, raising questions about the morality of his actions. He implemented legal systems but also ruled with an iron fist. His laws were designed to maintain order and control, often at the expense of personal freedoms. This duality in his approach to justice makes his legacy a subject of ongoing debate among historians and scholars. His story prompts reflection on the balance between power and justice, and whether one can truly exist without the other. Philosophers like Aristotle and Plato pondered these questions, laying the groundwork for modern legal thought. Their writings continue to influence our understanding of justice today. Capone, conversely, stands as a stark reminder of justice's vulnerability. Unlike Alexander, Capone operated outside the law, exploiting its weaknesses for personal gain. His criminal empire thrived during a time when legal systems were ill-equipped to handle organized crime. His reign of terror exposed the fragility of legal systems when confronted with organized ruthlessness. The Prohibition era, marked by widespread corruption and lawlessness, highlighted the need for stronger legal frameworks and more effective law enforcement. Capone's eventual downfall, brought about by relentless legal pursuit, serves as a testament to the enduring struggle for justice. In the end, the clash between Alexander and Capone is not a battle that can be won or lost on a traditional battlefield. It transcends the physical realm, moving into the domain of ideas and philosophies. Alexander, the great conqueror, and Capone, the infamous gangster, represent two vastly different approaches to power and influence. Their legacies are etched into the annals of history, but their true impact is felt in the way we perceive leadership and justice today. It is a clash of ideologies, of methods, of visions of a just world. Alexander's vision was one of unification through conquest, believing that a single, strong ruler could bring peace and prosperity. Capone, on the other hand, thrived in chaos, manipulating the system to his advantage and challenging the established order. Their methods were different, but both sought to impose their will upon the world. This ideological battle is not confined to history books. It is a living, breathing conflict that shapes our modern society. And it is a clash that continues to resonate within us today. We see it in the streets, in the halls of power, and in our daily lives. The struggle between order and chaos, between justice and corruption, is a constant presence. It influences our decisions, our laws, and our sense of right and wrong. The statues and monuments we build are not just reminders of the past, they are symbols of the ongoing battle for the soul of humanity. who ultimately triumphs in this eternal struggle? Is it the visionary leader who seeks to create a better world through strength and unity, or the cunning strategist who exploits the weaknesses of the system for personal gain? The answer is not simple, and it may never be fully resolved. It is a question that each generation must grapple with as we navigate the complexities of our ever-changing world. The answer perhaps lies within each of us and the choices we make. Every decision, no matter how small, contributes to the larger narrative of our society. Do we choose to uphold justice, even when it is difficult, or do we take the easier path of self-interest? Do we strive for unity and cooperation, or do we allow division and conflict to prevail? These choices define us as individuals and as a collective. What does justice truly mean, and how far are we willing to go to achieve it? Justice is not a static concept. It evolves with our understanding and our values. It requires constant vigilance and a willingness to challenge the status quo. Are we prepared to make sacrifices for the greater good, or do we prioritize our own needs and desires? The pursuit of justice is a journey, not a destination, and it demands our active participation. These are the questions that linger long after the echoes of battle have faded. They are the questions that define our humanity and our place in the world. As we reflect on the legacies of Alexander and Capone, we must also look within ourselves and consider the impact of our actions. The true measure of victory is not found on the battlefield, but in the hearts and minds of those who strive for a just and equitable world.